holiday season, Maple Grove has the cheer. Lace up your skates, everything is right here. Shop, dine, play, and stay in the holiday headquarters getaway. Come the Minnesota way. It's the holidays. Experience Maple Grove. Happy holidays. Book your holiday getaway at experiencemaplegrove.com.
Welcome to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman. This show brought to you by TWS Remodeling. They are the way to go. We're also brought to you by Experience Maple Grove. It's the holiday season. Get yourself up there. And we also have joining us is Jason Holmer of Lake Country Insurance Services. Happy holidays.
Yep.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you guys.
And, of course, Tyler Ganz, the owner of TWS Remodeling, here as well, and plenty for your clients to be thankful for, especially the ones that came via of another company that's not around anymore, and you've been saving a lot of holidays.
Yeah, we're just talking about the community coming together to help people in need. That's Thanksgiving spirit. That's what we're going to have.
I like it. All right, your Minnesota Vikings, Chuck.
Cool. Here.
What was that trip to where is Minnesota Vikings? Yeah, my Minnesota Vikings. Here you go.
He's the one we talked to.
Exactly. All right, first of all, it's the Green Bay Packers, right?
That's
what
who they played.
And that's always a tough game. The Chicago Bears, Green Bay, and Detroit. But I don't, from the offensive perspective,
It was very offensive.
yeah, very disappointed. And the continued injuries, especially up front,
Yep.
is a definite big concern. And then when I'm looking at the quarterback situation, I'm not seeing progression. I'm seeing kind of regressions, kind of like. And, of course, that has a lot to do with what's up front.
Right.
But in the same token, basically he's a rookie, which tells me I'm going to say it this way, he ain't ready.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination, play quarterback in this league at this level with the size and the speed and everything. You got guys 6'7", 340 running 4.5 40s, 4.6.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not on your game as far as your progressions go quick, you're done. He's not ready.
Yeah.
And then the defense, of course, I think is we got a good defense. If we had some offense, they might win, but I don't know if they're gonna win another game.
Yeah, you mentioned the progressions. Like that's one of the things I've noticed is he doesn't seem to be getting through the progressions quick enough, and especially those quick hit plays that Kevin O'Connell seems to be trying to set him up with. He's not hitting those guys off the line, and then he's holding the ball a little bit long, and he's getting some pressure, whatever. But a lot of that pressure is he's missing his quick read, and now the line's got to hold in a scheme that they weren't set up for on the snap. I hope the kid works out. He seems like a great kid. I mean, I love the enthusiasm, and I can tell he wants it bad. But
it's not that he doesn't have the ability. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's just not ready.
Right.
They made that choice to remove Sam Darnold and Jones, thinking Daniel Jones. Are the two of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. How it's going to end, I don't know, but right now they are.
Yeah.
So we went from having those two down to making the choice for JJ, and I don't know what they saw, but I'm telling you what. I don't know if we got a quarterback whisperer.
Yeah, I think too, leading off what you said, like if you're speeding through where you're supposed to get to, you're behind, and then you see these rocket passes. So we have the most drops of any team in the NFL right now. We have the best receivers. Well, you're throwing a 98-mile-an-hour slider. Okay, not everybody can catch that. So I think what that all adds up to his inexperience.
All that kind of
you
stuff.
got to slow it down. They say the game slows down as you get farther into your career, but he's so far behind. It's ugly.
That's one thing I liked about Bud Grant, though. If you were a rookie, you probably weren't going to play, and if you did play, you were able. Well, I was lucky to play running back. Either you can run it or you can't read block. But
you're just that good.
No,
you were that good.
But what I'm saying, especially at the quarterback position, though, you weren't playing for Bud Green. You were going to sit. And there's a reason behind that method. And he was always right.
Yeah, you learn.
Yeah, you got to learn it. Offensive line too. That's the difference. There's quarterback, offensive line, then you got skill positions. Well, all you got to do is run and catch. That's no skill. Well, there is somewhat of some, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I heard those guys who run it. That's not very good.
No, but what I'm saying to you, the people that make that work are the guys up front and the quarterback.
Yeah.
So without those two being the dominant positions on your team, as far as enabling people to execute their skill.
I think, geez, all these quarterbacks that are 5, 7, 10 years into their career, all of a sudden being really good. You go back to a Bud Grant theory. You've watched.
Right.
Not only did you have to learn, but you also had to earn it, right? It takes time.
Right.
And I know you love that fact. You always want the guys to earn it, Chuck.
Right.
So.
And you look at Baker Mayfield, too. Look at him. He went to where he's in Cleveland, everywhere. You know, Cleveland. He's been all over the place, and now, you know, he's leading Tampa Bay, and they're doing pretty good. Other than like a ton of injuries, and they still win it.
But how much of that, Chuck, do you think is a factor of the modern NFL and the money? Because a lot of these teams now, what you always hear is you win Super Bowls while your quarterback's on their rookie contract, and then after they sign that big contract. Now you've got to start playing Cap Olympics to try to those roles. You're like Patrick Mahomes, right?
Well,
right, exactly. Everything. So do you think they're rushing through that to be like, hey, we need JJ to be JJ and what we think he can be while he's making $5 million a year before we got to pay him $50?
Well, you know, I know that's the way that's the way it's going, but it's not something that's working.
Right. No, I agree.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what they're doing. Everybody's running these guys through. Right. You look at all of them. Yeah, all these quarterbacks now, they've been drafted by one team, and then they excel when they get traded to the other team, because now they're maturing and they understanding the game, and depending on how many different offensive coordinators they've had and different offenses that they have had to grab, and then everybody's got a different way of making the calls, and, you know, you got to get rid of that old way of doing things and bring it in this new way.
Yeah.
That's a lot to take on. So I don't know, but I still think that JJ has ability, no question, but he's not ready for this level.
Well, I just find it mind-numbing that they felt he was ready, that he was here for a year. It wasn't like they just drafted him this summer, went through OTAs, training camp, and had to make a snap decision. You had him all of last year. Granted, he was hurt, but you could see what he was doing, and by the time winter came around, he was back on the field doing the off-season conditioning programs. So for O'Connell or Kwesi or whoever made the call that said, you know what, we don't need Sam, we don't need Daniel Jones, we don't even need a capable backup. We'll take Thurston Howell III off the bench, and we'll use him. Well, he didn't even make it through training camp. So you're stuck with Brosmer, who more than likely will start this Sunday, and God bless Max. Let's hope he can figure it out.
Right.
But who sat there and said that, you know what, this is the guy that can take this team from 14 wins to the next level? Because that's what they did in free agency. They spent $300 million on free agents.
Right.
Well, when a team does that, that usually signals they think their window is open, and we're all in. They spent the second most amount of money on free agency of any team in the NFL. The only one that spent more, I guess, was New England.
Now, the quarterback, Brosner, right?
Yep, Max
Brosmer.
Brosmer.
Yeah, well, anyway. From what I understand, what I've seen, he really looked good when he's out there on the practice, right? So what happens if he goes out there and he does the job better than JJ? Because I've heard that this kid is like a sleeper and that he can play.
If Max starts the rest of the season, do you think JJ starts week 1 next year?
That depends on how well Max does.
Just saying. I think that if Max plays an inch better, JJ's out.
Well, look at
Attack ourselves and put them to simmer. Look at the team that just kicked us last week.
Yeah.
What have they done? They had their quarterback sit Favre sat, Rodgers sat, Love sat.
Yeah.
Look at where they are. They step in and are very capable to do the job.
Right.
Well, look at the 49ers. They spent all that draft capital to bring Trey Lance in at the 3rd overall pick, I think.
Yep.
And then they draft Brock Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant. And who's the one making $50 million a year right
Purdy
now?
is, but he's not worth it.
I mean, he gets the job done, though.
Well, no. What happened is somebody else got the job done. He threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, would you ask Brock Purdy or J.J. McCarthy right now?
Well, that's a 2 different story. Right. Purdy, I think, is, like, I'm happy for him. Don't misunderstand me, but
I guess what I'm saying is just the agility in that decision making.
but look at the offensive line he got. He got Trent Williams. That's the nastiest offensive lineman that might have been ever created.
That's a fair point.
He was scaring me just talking to him. Yeah, I saw him snatch a guy in one game and threw this. Hey, I'm like, wow, I sure like to run behind him.
Yeah.
But when you got a guy like that on your offensive line, and he's going to tell those other guys up front, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, all right. We got to take a break. We will continue. Will Max Brosmer save the season? We'll get into that and much more as we continue here on the JimBob Sports Jamboree. But first, we want to tell you about Maple Grove, and they are your holiday headquarters. Did you know Maple Grove is second only to the Mall of America in retail space? Maple Grove has everything from boutique specialty shops and spas to top brands like Stika and Lululemon. And best of all, the stores are all centrally located with easy freeway access. And then when you get there, you just hop out of your car because everything is like right there. You don't have to drive around, find a different spot. All the stores are right next to each other. It's the season to shop until you drop. Grab a bite to eat at one of their nearly 150 restaurants. You know, they are the restaurant capital of Minnesota. And on Black Friday, the Central Park skating loop opens up for the season, so the kids have got a great place to play. And Elm Creek is already making snow for snowboarding and tubing. So you get it. Head over to experiencemaplegrove.com and plan your holiday adventure. All right, we'll be back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree right after this.
Coming to the Twin Cities in December, it's the 2026 World Junior Hockey Championship.
Team USA has gone back-to-back!
Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit worldjuniorsmn26.com.
Welcome back to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman. This show brought to you by TWS Remodeling and Experience Maple Grove. Jim Rich here. Chuck Foreman's phone is here. Yep. He has visitors at his home.
Always.
So watch out. Don't go near the Foreman mansion. Because
Hey, there's a lot going on already. Yeah, for sure.
Tyler Ganz also here with us, along with Jason Holmer of Lake Country Insurance Services. And Thanksgiving is here. You're giving your people the day off, but they are slammed right now. You guys got so much going on because you stepped up for everybody here in the Twin Cities that got a bad deal.
Yeah, it's been really fun to help out some unfortunate people that we're dealing with. Obviously, a private equity firm that bought Rusco. I want to mention the Rusco family had nothing to do with what happened. There's been a lot of bad talk about them. They're just as devastated as the rest of the people. But one of the cool things is that we started before the Rusco thing was we had a $25,000 giveaway. That's kind of been overshadowed by the Rusco deal, but that also went off this week. We have picked a winner for that. I'm excited we're going to announce that here in December, and then the project will happen in January. So that was another thing giving back this week that was supposed to be thanking our customers by giving $25,000 away. Got overshadowed by the Rusco thing. So thinking of your thing, TWSremodeling.com. Come on in. We do decks, windows, kitchens, bathrooms, roofing. However we can help you out. We'd love to have a chance to come over and give you a free quote for your next project.
Pretty cool. Do you redo quarterbacks?
That's one thing I don't have the skills. Leaning on KOC.
All right, Minnesota Vikings look like Max Brosmer will be the starting quarterback. Concussion-like symptoms have put J.J. McCarthy in concussion protocol.
I had a concussion symptoms after that game as well.
Really? Yeah.
Including my head against the wall for 3 hours.
Well, they couldn't pinpoint a play, Chuck. Just like the Iowa Eagles
to a whole
story
game
earlier this season when things were going well. They just conveniently, we're not quite sure what play it was.
Hey, have you ever had a concussion?
Probably, yeah. I remember one time, but I was with New England, and the first time I ever was hit like that, because it felt like my brain was shaking. I mean, was moving around in my
What year was that?
That was 1980. But I'm just saying.
The key was he remembers it.
I'm not going to say so he remembers it from 50 years ago, and they can't figure out what happened to Judson, right? Or what play it was.
I was coming across the middle, that's for sure. And Steve Grogan threw that thing behind me, man, and I was reaching back to grab it. And oh man, this guy, I think it was Buffalo too.
Yeah, you're
and
telling me.
big rivalry, dude. He caught me right smack in a way where I've never been hit before, because I didn't even see him coming. Mm-hmm. And normally I would be able to see that, but the way he threw that ball, and he caught me just when I was turning around. And then he was talking trash to me, and I wasn't in the position to even say anything back. Because before, if I was with the Vikings, I would say something like, now, I'll be back here about 20 more times. And then that'll make them quiet because they knew what else was coming after that. But when I was with New England, I was kind of like third down and stuff like that, even though I should have been starting. But that's the way that went.
So
from the penthouse to the outhouse.
What? So realistically, what can we expect from Max Brosmer? A guy walking in off the street. I mean, he's done some preseason. Right. He did some mop-up when Wentz finally was mercifully carted off the field. That's a whole other story. So what can we expect from Max?
I think what I've seen from him, it seems like he has some field presence. In other words, it seems like he knows what's going on. And I'm just excited to see how he handles the pressure that's going to be coming. Because I don't know who's going to be out. We got one or two linemen there might not play.
Right. Darisaw or rookie. And the rookie are both banged up right now. Right. Did not practice on Wednesday.
Right. So that's going to be the key. Can he handle that pressure? Mm-hmm. I think he's got the skill set from what I saw the times that he was in, and he was impressive. I thought as a undrafted rookie.
Yep, undrafted
coming in and being able to do what he does. So why not?
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Well, I think the big thing there for me is I go back to a conversation we had with you and Mike, Superstar. The preseason, and you guys both said our biggest concerns watching the preseason practices is his accuracy.
All right.
And holy cow, is that spot on. Like you hit that nail on the head. So if Brosmer can come out and just be accurate with the ball and get through those early progressions, I think he's going to do great. I mean, what more could you ask for? We've got all the weapons in the world.
Yeah.
And if we can just keep the offense on the field for a little while and let the defense have a breath once in a while, we're going to win some games. So I don't know. Just get some first downs. Let's just start with some first downs and see where that leads us.
Well, like I said, from what I've seen of him, there's something about him, in my opinion anyway. He's got a little something there, and it's going to be good to see what he does with it. Yeah. I think he's going to get an opportunity, and hopefully he'll take advantage of it.
Well, I'd like to see O'Connell coach to the quarterback's talents.
There you go. His strength, right?
Right? Because we haven't seen it. I mean, last week they were moving the ball well. Mm-hmm. That first possession, Jones comes out, Mason comes out, they're ripping off yardage. They throw for a first down when they didn't need to, right? It was a good throw. So they get the first down, and then what does he do? 3 straight passes.
Yeah.
And none of them are accurate, and you're punting the ball.
Right.
And it's just craziness like that. He just can't seem to help himself. He can't just slow it down and say, you know what? We've got to settle things down. Let's let a long drive with running and him just handing it off and doing dump off passes, and we'll nickel and dime our way down the field. We don't have to go for a 30-yard strike because I don't know what his percentage is on completions of passes over 10, 15 yards, but it's got to be just visible because he sailed that one that was the pick over, was it Addison's head or Naylor's? I don't know. Somebody said it 7 yards over his head.
You know, sometimes when you got a guy that's got an arm like that, and he thinks he can put it in there anytime, you know, he's got to rethink that mindset there. You know, he's got to learn. And the only way he's going to get that touch is like practice.
And one of the concerning things for me is as this season has progressed, watching the body language of our receivers, because it is becoming really obvious. They're saying the right things in front of the camera.
Yeah, they do.
And they're saying the right things to be good teammates. But
then they go to confession on stuff.
Really obvious
to us
when those balls go 5 yards over their head on the sidelines, or when they're overthrowing a deep ball by 15 yards or whatever, that they're getting really frustrated.
Yeah, the body language speaks for itself.
Because they're open. I mean, let's be honest. They're open.
Oh, yeah.
Just get him the ball. How many times did I say that? I was like screaming at the TV. Just throw it to him.
Yeah.
Just the worst.
I mean, Chuck, what happens to a team? How long are these guys going to have his back? I mean, if you, as a team, are executing everything else and it's one guy that keeps misfiring, I mean, generally, you can see it with the defense. They're like, you know what? I'm not going to go kill myself and blow this guy up for a tackle. I'm just going to throw a shoulder at him, or I'm going, arm tackle him so I don't hurt myself because I know we're not winning this game. There's no point.
Well, then if those guys are thinking like that, then you don't want them on the team.
Agreed.
Simple as that. If you can't go out there and do your job the best that you can do it, regardless of what the record is, you can't give up like that. And if they thinking like that, then you don't need them on the team, in my opinion. Let's put it this way. I know Bud Grant wouldn't have him on the team. He'd have him like, there was a sign that when you went out on the field at Metropolitan Stadium, right? When you came out of the locker room, when you get ready to go up on the field, and that sign said, "You can be replaced."
No way.
That's what it said. And you looked at it
a building encouraging stadium.
You looked at it when you went out, and you looked at it when you came in. So they gave you. They didn't say there was a generation. Set you know straight up.
Generation, this is right. The coach would get fired if you did that.
So if you hung that up in a locker room nowadays,
oh my God,
there'd be protesters. The guy would be gone.
Well, we had when Zimmer got fired, there was people famously saying he doesn't say good morning to me in the hallway.
Yes,
right.
Yes, that's he wouldn't say hello. Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. Brings him back, maybe.
I think maybe.
I'll tell you what he would have said about J.J. McCarthy. To this point, he could be the greatest quarterback. So I'll couch the statement with that. But he goes, remember what he said about Kellen Mond? They asked him, why aren't you putting him in the game? I've seen him in practice. And then Zip just got torn to shreds for that. I'm like, I said to him, we were just talking, not with cameras. I said, all you said was you answered the question.
Yeah.
I see him in practice. It wasn't a shot. And he goes, I didn't mean it as a shot. And everybody goes, oh, my God, how do you say that? It's just like, he's not there yet.
It is what it is.
He's just not there. Sorry. All right. We got to take another break. Bob Sansevier will join us in a bit. And we will also discuss, what about special teams? They're not very special right now, Chuck. We'll have to get into that and more. You're listening to the JimBob Sports Jamboree, presented by TWS Remodeling and Experience Maple Grove. Welcome back to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, the superstar Mike Morris, already out enjoying the holiday weekend. This show brought to you by TWS Remodeling. Tyler Ganz is here, and we also have Jason Holmer with us, who represents Lake Country Insurance Services. And Tyler's been helping people out, but there's been a lot of people, I bet you, giving her calls these days about homeowners rates.
Yeah, they're a little rough right now. They're a little rough, but that's the benefit of working with an independent broker like us, is that we have a broad spectrum of different carriers. We could shop a lot of different companies, and not all square pegs fit in a round hole. And so, when you're working with, agencies that are using one carrier, a lot of times they can find you a good product, and a lot of times they can't. So, we're able to kind of shop across all spectrums and help people save where they can. And with the market being the way it is, it does take some insight and understanding. And we do take the time to kind of explain that to people about why things are the way that they are. And usually that kind of helps people make decisions as well.
Right, because that's the thing right now. People are just opening up these envelopes and saying, whoa, what's going on here? You call an 800 number, you're not really going to get the answers and drill down to what's going on in your neighborhood or your part of town, because now they can, with the insurance and all the AI information, they could pinpoint where the rates are and where the claims are coming from, and that's why this is going on, and the prices and the tariffs and all these things are affecting insurance as they have to cover their costs to fix what's wrong with your home, right?
Yeah. Do you need a job, or
Would you like me to get on the phone? I'd be happy to.
No, that was a great. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of factors, but yeah, if you're calling an 800 number, you're most likely talking to a call center employee who's, maybe got their license 2 weeks ago, and they, not saying you can't get good service, but typically you don't, and you never talking to the same person twice. So
Correct.
Our agents, we train them how to go through and advise people, and then continue that relationship. And we as a brokerage, we can really help manage a case file for a household rather than just sell something. So, and sometimes that takes some planning over a couple of years. It might take 2 or 3 years to get a plan sort of enacted where we're taking the steps to ultimately take care of all the discounts that are available to a client.
All right. So if somebody would like to speak with you, how do they get a hold of you guys?
You can call our office at 612-285-3113 or go to lcisagency.com.
There you go. All right. Special teams, Chuck. Usually it's a benign part of a football game.
Right.
But lately it has been an Achilles heel for the Vikings, as they have now had 3 straight games with gigantic. That'd be you ringing there.
No. Is it? Oh, okay.
Well, once a show.
We got to get a call in. Okay, you had 2 errors, 2 fumbles,
Right.
and then bad coverage. So how do they fix that? Is a special teams coordinator something on the shopping list for the offseason?
Well, the first thing I when you play special teams, and I keep referring back to when I played and the coach that I had. Bud Grant would keep you on the team if you were a great special teams player. Like if you had an assignment and you were really good at it, you would make that team because, special teams was, like, in his opinion, it was really, really important if you wanted to win. If you have great special teams, your team is probably going to be that much better. And when you make mistakes on special teams, that really is a mistake that is going to set you back. It's going to be a bad mistake. And so when you have a good, solid special team and have guys that are proud to be on, we had a guy that most of our special team players were started. Matt Blair was probably one of the best, if not the best special team player we had. He blocked punts, blocked kicks. Extra points. He'd do it all. Fred McNeil. These guys were all starters. And, we had some guys like Nate Allen. He was a defensive back, but he could block field goals. We had, special teams was always a top priority on a Bud Grant coach team. If you got a great special teams, you got a better chance to win. And what we've seen with the Vikings so far this year, the special teams are lacking big time.
Well, and it's fundamental stuff.
Very much stuff.
Right? Like the first fumble that Price had a couple of weeks ago, that happens. Fumbles happen, right? Gets knocked out, could have held it tighter. But the kickoff coverage against Chicago,
Right.
that's basic. This is how you run the play.
Right.
It wasn't an extraordinary run back like Cordero Patterson, where he used to just sail by people, or Percy Harvin, where he'd go this way and then
Right.
cut the other way. it was just a straight run back. And then last week, you're basically just letting the ball go, and still you don't know to get out of the way and get out of there. I mean, that seems like it's fundamental stuff that should have been covered weeks ago at training camp.
You notice? Do you ever notice how guys tackle now? They don't wrap up anymore. They just come and try to hit you and knock you down. You know, that's not the way you can't be successful as a special teamer if you tackle like that. You know, and they don't make plays when they need to make them, and they make too many mistakes. And when you make mistakes on special teams, it's always critical.
Yeah. It always, especially when the margin of error is so finite for this team.
So the amount of time the special team is on the field is tiny. So like everything they do is crucial. Everything. And it changed. I mean, in this last game specifically, I really felt that we were in that game and we were being competitive until that punt fumble, right? Like we turned over the ball.
Yeah.
Like that changed the entire momentum of the game.
Gave him a 5-yard field, boom.
We never recovered. Never recovered.
No.
So I mean, it's a crucial spot. It seems so small in some people's minds, but it is the most crucial part of the game, in my opinion. You have to succeed there.
All right. Hey, but let me ask you this, since we're all negative on special teams. is the field goal kicker part of the special teams?
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had any points with him. I had a great field goal kicker, guys. We just got to get.
I really see that you're here today because my buddies are calling like, you guys are so negative.
Hey, all we got to do now is get to an NFC Championship game and get a field goal at the end with Will Reichert.
Yeah, we don't have Morris snapping the ball, so it should be a good snap. We wouldn't have any problems there. I can see that.
But as far as your friends go, we're just telling it like it is.
Yeah, we're telling the truth. That's what I tell
you. Got to be truth.
I say Chuck doesn't mess around. He tells the truth.
But what I'm saying is, how you going to tell a fan what they seeing? You know, you're going to try to sit up and sugarcoat something, but the fans sitting and all of us are watching how horrible a play is, but we have to sit here and sugarcoat it because we don't want to hurt somebody's feeling.
No, I didn't.
You know, I'm a Viking through and through. But still, if they're not playing well, I'm going to say they're not playing well. I mean, because people watch it. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Right.
No.
You know.
But Jason's boy, the kicker's playing great.
So he got real field out.
Now we have to petition the NFL to increase the value of field goals. To set
And also move the wires in the air.
Well, yeah, that's a problem too.
I'm sorry. Decrease the optical illusions.
Yes, there was no way.
Has 2 field goals and both hit wires.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Same.
all right. I want you to go to the 30,000-foot view of the Vikings. You are now a member of the Wilf family.
Oh, sweet.
How do you look?
I can quit working.
Well, you have to fix your football team.
Oh.
So if this continues the way it's going, where do you go from here? You have no quarterback if McCarthy continues to have concussions, high ankle sprains. Max turns out to be a flash in the pan, doesn't do much of anything. You're stuck back at ground zero. So you're the owner. Who are you looking at in that boardroom at the end of the season?
Man, that's a tough one because I really do think Kevin O'Connell's a good coach. And I like Kwesi's analytic approach. I just think that structurally we have to start looking at how we have to make a decision where we're going to invest our draft capital, right? And I think that's a question for the general manager. But like, you either need to decide, are we going to spend our dollars on a quarterback and get somebody who can lead the team, or we can invest the draft capital there. And if you're going to do the draft capital there, then you have to be willing to do things like trade a few first-round picks to move up to get Drake May, right? Like, how good would that feel right now?
Yeah.
But like, you got to spend your money in one place and your draft capital in the other. And so you look at success, like teams that have long sustained success, like the Green Bay Packers, as much as I hate to say that, they build through the draft typically, right? And and they don't miss on a lot of picks. And I feel like we need to get better in that regard. And I don't know that that's Kwesi's problem, but like, is it the where's he getting his information?
Well, he's got scouts. He watches the MA.
Right.
They got guys all out, evaluating talent.
But that's what I'm saying. That's my
But
question.
the bottom line is this: this is a win right now league. This is not a league where you can build anymore. Back when you could draft a quarterback, give him 3 years, and he's ready to go. They want him. Okay, they bring him in. They want him to win now. And they can't win now. Every now and then, even Patrick Mahomes sat for a year.
Yep.
And he's just one of the few. I guess there's a couple of them out there, but what the Vikings have to do is figure out what they want to do to win right now. And right now, they don't have the quarterback to take them to that place.
So and that's
or the offensive line because they stay healthy.
Yeah.
They'd stay hurt. I mean.
Yep. So they made it a whole half all healthy. They made a whole half all 5 together.
Yeah. But it's just not. It's not working.
But that's full circle back to Jim's question, which was at 30,000 feet. Well, you were more like, who do we remove? I'm more.
No, I'm just saying
change
where you go.
So I think you're right. We need a quarterback first and foremost, and a way to keep him upright, right? And everything else builds from there. So do you invest your draft capital in youth to get that? Because here's like, I think back on that draft where we got McCarthy. I was really high on Drake May. I was really high on Bo Nix. I really didn't want them to take JJ McCarthy.
No.
And I'm a Michigan football fan. Like I appreciate what he did there. But when I looked at that draft, I'm like, okay, we got to give up 3 first-rounders if we want Drake May. I mean, we would look brilliant. We would look brilliant if we did. So, do we invest that draft capital that way, or do you spend the money to get a Drake May?
But you got to understand this: those guys were drafted by teams that had that inside out reputation as far as building, and they had offensive lines that were pretty decent.
Yeah.
To give them an opportunity to showcase those skills. Bo Nix in Denver and Drake May and New England. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
And their offenses are geared to their strengths.
You got to go one way or the other.
They adapt to their strength.
Yeah.
Either offensive line.
And so like JJ, I'm not saying he's not going to be, but I'm just saying he's not ready right now. And so they made that decision. And I don't know who, obviously, the people that are the head of the departments made that decision. Kwesi and
Kevin O'Connell.
And Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
They made that decision.
Yeah. This debate will continue.
There you go. That's it.
This debate will continue, and
that
we
was the
will.
wrong decision.
We will discuss it when we get back together again next week. We also have to remind you, World Junior Ice Hockey Championships, they are a sponsor of the JimBob. I know you're a big hockey guy. You're going to be down there. I'm going to be down there at the Mall of America on Black Friday. World Junior headquarters opens there. They now have a store for all your gear, anything you need. So gifts, you got to swing by there. It's on the 3rd floor of the Mall of America. There will be a ticket special out there, too, as I'm giving you a hint. So if you're buying tickets, just wait a bit because there's something coming down the pipe that you'll want to jump on. All right. That will do it to us. Chuck, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great day. Yeah.
Tyler.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Jason.
Yeah, thanks. You guys too.
All right. The happiest of all people, someone you'd love to have at your table for Thanksgiving. Bob Sansevier is joining us next. You're listening to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, presented by TWS Remodeling and ExperienceMapleGrove.com.
The 2026 World Junior Hockey Championship is coming to Minnesota in December.
Skips around here, throws it in front. Perot scores!
Don't miss the NHL's future superstars in your backyard.
Walks to the middle and shot and scores! A shot stopped by Splukinski. Stevens in, he scores! Team USA has gone back-to-back!
Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit WorldJuniorsMN26.com.